Hello and welcome back to Raging Loop. This one should be the right one, I believe. Yeah, it should be. Thus began a third secret meeting. We would tear their fragile plans to shreds. No, let's fulfill the promise. Her voice was calm but stern. Let's give one of your sons their rest. Certainly. Which are we going for? Me? Yoshi? They sure were excited about this. It still pissed me off. Don't become. As did Chiyomi's face, which often flashed before my eyes recently. Before we do that, can't you two suffer a bit more? I made a smile and asked that. Suffer? I mean, this is difficult for you, right? You're about to send a son back to Yomi. It's a tragedy, isn't it? Haru, you just sat there and watched as your own grandfather was hanged today. That's madness. A terrible way for a human to act. I've done many terrible things since being born and granted this power. Sending people to where they truly belong carries with it a lot of sympathy, empathy, and guilt. Ugh, this lie was such a pain at this point. I didn't even have a reason to keep telling it anymore. If we act normal while doing this kind of thing, we won't be in the right anymore. Do you think we're not suffering? Oh? You are? Of course. It's a bother to cry at this point, so we simply do our best to be insane. And I just don't want to cause you trouble. Unlike you, we can't keep up with you unless we go insane. But people normally don't know how to go insane. Also, Haru, don't act like this is my fault. Kaori will die after she kills her sons, but you won't, right? You need to survive and bear the sin. I can die too, can't I? Yes, she can, can't she? I raised my leg and kicked over the bucket. Oh my. I've had enough of this nonsense. Then why not get this over with? Yeah, like we should. Okay. Who are we getting rid of? I think, like, ultimately, it probably isn't going to matter. I think both paths will lead to death anyway. But Hmm. I mean, I don't know. I think we're just gonna go for Yoshitsugu. We would kill Yoshitsugu Oribe. Killing the crow was a very logical move for the wolves. Even if Kanzo were alive, I didn't think anyone could imagine Kaori was a wolf actively killing her sons. Still, it was important we had a consistent story. Are you okay with going for Yoshitsugu? Yoshitsugu. Oh, Yoshitsugu. Alright. I can finally put him to rest. I was getting pissed off again. Was it because I was twisted and playing the part of the villain, yet the two of them were supposed to be acting like they were the good guys? Howdy. Yes? Please kill him yourself. Otherwise, the story wouldn't make sense. If the murder was done out of motherly love, the crime needed to reflect that ideology. Because there was no way she could do it. And then she would suffer. Suffer. Alright. She shouldn't be alright with it. I'll do it too. I let you do the whole thing yesterday. Be thorough. Don't leave a semblance of his original shape behind. Why? So we don't leave any traces behind. If it's done after the killing blow, he won't suffer. I see. Alright then. Are you good with that too, Kaori? Yes. Don't become. Suffer. His room was just to the rear of the dining hall. It was a small room used for storage that he'd started sleeping in since 2 years back. I was always concerned since Yasunaga moved into the dorm. It's sad, isn't it? how boys can't always live together. Like I cared. Go ahead. I handed her a grass sickle laying nearby. Do your best, please. I finally calmed down after watching Kaori wail as she chopped up her son. In the end, Haru just mostly watched blankly from the sidelines the whole time. By the time we had to carry Kaori back to the dining hall once she'd collapsed from exhaustion, my irritation had faded. Haru took care of undressing her. It would have been hard to redress her, so it seemed she just removed the outfit and put her to bed. You have gone completely mad, haven't you, City Dweller? I'm not going mad. Then how could you corner Kaori like that with a faint smile? Because I was relieved. Huh? Generally, I live in accordance with the local common sense and sense of morality, so when those go mad, I have to go mad too. I was relieved that a part of Kaori didn't want to kill her son. Seeing her cry was a load off my chest. If she hadn't shown a single sign of remorse, I might have snapped and killed her. That is what is defined as going mad. Why is that? It's unfair for the one who went mad first to not take any responsibility. Splendid. I still cannot comprehend your abnormality. That is what attracts me to you. I think I'll make an exception and turn you down. Oh, what a cold answer. And why? Because you're... No, never mind. Reluctant to part, are you? Shut up. Just now, I felt like I was on the verge of realizing what God was. But that sensation vanished like mist, and I returned to the prefab with dissatisfaction lingering in my heart. Friday. I feel like, from memory, most of these loops have not gone on for longer than Friday. I might be wrong. I must have been really tired. I awoke to the sound of someone knocking on the door. They were making quite a racket. I opened my eyes and looked out the window to see... Haru? Wake up, Sashi, wake up! I quickly got up when I realized something wasn't right. What's wrong? Kaori lost it. It was dangerous to talk about that sort of thing during the day. I looked around outside in a hurry, but couldn't tell if anyone else was there in the mist. Still, I invited her in and locked the door so we could continue. What happened? The first thing Kaori did when she got up was... Ni. It was then I finally noticed Haru's breathing was ragged. There were tear stains on her cheeks. Calm down. There was so much blood. Sorry. Why are you apologizing? Because I'm the one who pushed Kaori that far. But in the end, we killed everyone together. You don't have to think it's right. I can't do that. Now wasn't the time to persuade her. I left her behind in the prefab and went outside. I armed myself with a stick to be safe and headed for the plaza, but by the time I got there, everything had been resolved. The dining hall was a sea of blood. In the midst of it was a blood-stained corpse that apparently belonged to Yasunaga. Behind the counter I saw the adults, or rather Hashimoto, pinning Kaori down. Hashimoto leaned on Kaori, leaving her gasping for air and moaning in agony. She must have been hurt. Suzashi, could you bring some rope and help me tie her up? Couldn't believe he still had a poker face on in times like these. The spurt of blood on his chest only accentuated the oddity of it all. Not that I was in any position to say anything about it. Alright, Rikako. Oh, this way. I took Rikako out of the ring of people surrounding Kaori and got what we needed. Kaori screamed and raged after being bound, but in the end could do nothing as we locked her up in the dining hall. Though we were all present after I brought Haru back, the oppressive atmosphere didn't fade. You okay, Haru? Did Hassan do anything to you? Of course not. Don't talk to me. Haru. First she'd lost her grandfather, and now the boy who'd been like an older brother to her. was nothing that could possibly cheer Haru up. Still, we had to do the feast, as well as decide how to handle Kaori before that. With Kanzo, Takumi, and Yasunaga gone, Kyonosuke, Hashimoto, and I ended up with the biggest influence out of necessity. I was a little surprised that the two of them had agreed not to torture Kaori from the start. Maybe I was the one messed up for finding that surprising, but the both of them were avoiding tormenting their fellow villagers. Thus, I played along with them, knowing it would give me an advantage. On the other hand, there was the matter of how to deal with Kaori. While the people of Yasumizu were calling to hang her immediately, Hashimoto and Mamiya had different ideas. She broke the laws, yes? That means she will automatically be punished later, right?
Leaving someone so terrifying is definitely scary, but let's think calmly about this. We've lost a crow and another human on top of that. We can't get them back. There are 10 of us here, and Kanzo didn't seem like a wolf, meaning there are almost certainly 3 wolves left. If that girl, the badger, has turned to the wolf side, that means they have 4 votes. We humans still have the majority with 6 votes. Are you trying to say that gives us some breathing room? If we hang the wrong person today, we'll only have 4 votes against 3. I think it would be better to hang Madame Oribe and create a situation where we have 5 votes against 3, don't you? Only the monkeys and the snake have revealed themselves right now. Speaking of which, what were the results of your investigation, Fusashi?
Seems like Haru's a human.
That makes 4. And if Meiko is the badger and Kaori Oribe is a wolf, that means 2 of the remaining 4 are wolves. Isn't it more important to get rid of one confirmed wolf when an imbalance exists over betting on a 50-50 chance?
He just randomly snuck that in there. He was just like, yeah, Haru's human. Move on. Logically speaking, he was right. If the snake continued investigating with the spider protecting them, there would be no unconfirmed people before long. If the humans could kill a confirmed wolf, they'd have more than half the votes over the wolves and would gain plenty of time until they could secure their victory. However, I don't know the details since I wasn't there, but is Kaori really a wolf? Maybe she simply lost it after seeing the horrible state of Yoshitsugu's body and ended up killing Yasunaga as a result.
No, she said it herself. She said she'd received the blessing of the Yomatsu Okami, the true guardians, and that we were all Yomibito, and thus she'd grant us salvation, that she'd saved her son through death.
His eyes shifted toward the pool of blood. So Kaori had confessed everything. What a handful of a teammate she turned out to be. That story doesn't sound right, does it?
I have heard that version of the story apparently exists in Kami Fujiyoshi, but anyway, all we gotta do is decide who to hang in the feast. All we can do is leave Kaori behind.
I see. I agree. What about the rest of you? No one objected. Then let's take this to the hall. Oh, Kyonosuke Nosato.
What is it?
You laid out your idea just now, but if we found another wolf, it would be a different story. I had a bad feeling about this.
Everyone had a drink.
Excuse me.
Let's begin the feast.
Hashimoto, I would like you to explain what you were implying.
I've been doing some thinking. There are 2 wolves amongst us, yes? Shikamachi, Kamoshida, and I are monkeys. Fusashi is the snake, and Haru is a human. Also, Meiko is likely the badger.
No, I'm not. Let that lady go.
Man, it must be tough being a wolf.
You think so? She's a little girl. So many would be reluctant to lynch her. To the wolf, she's a vote that's hard to lose. Well, I have no intention of killing her myself. If the humans win, she shouldn't have to die.
That's aside.
Oh, excuse me. Anyway, the ones here who haven't been confirmed yet are Yamawaki, Nosato, Uematsu, and Kyu. One of those 4 is a wolf.
On paper, anyway.
At this point, I tried thinking like a wolf, and I noticed something was off.
Well, don't keep us in suspense. Tell us.
I wasn't trying to keep you in suspense. Honestly, what I consider off is nothing more than an impression of mine. And when you suspect someone, you become cautious. With that said, I took what Oribe said into serious consideration, and it appears her killing was well-intentioned.
Preposterous.
Sit now. I was going to say the same goes for all of us after that.
How? The wolves are the leaders of the Yomibito, and they kill humans wielding corruption and grudges.
Oh no, that's not what I meant. I was referring to the execution we all call hanging. It's believed that hanging someone brings some salvation, right? That it's better than being killed by the wolves.
Well, yes.
The wolves are the same in how they also justify their own killings as being for the supposed good of others.
An outsider would never understand.
Hey, Hashimoto, that was originally my role. Are you sure about this?
My apologies. Anyway, Kaori Oribe acted under the belief that she wanted to kill her son quickly for his own good. Thus, the desire to kill her sons must have been the first thing to have popped into her head naturally. And yet she put herself at risk to kill Yasunaga instead of waiting for night. Isn't that strange? Why wasn't Yasunaga the first victim then?
Serizawa was the first to die, but it was Muro who was the first to die at the hands of the wolves.
Yes, that's right. Takumi Muro.
Oh, Takumi, why?
Is it that strange? He was always at the heart of discussions, so the wolves tried to sabotage that. That's also true, but my claim was that Oribe likely wanted to kill her sons. If so, I think it would have made a lot of sense for the wolves to have killed Yasunaga. He had a point. If we'd killed Yasunaga, there was a good chance of us throwing the feast into emotional and conservative chaos. Which meant that Hashimoto's argument was, why was it that the wolves would go so far as to reject Oribe's opinion to target Muro instead?
Maybe Kaori wasn't that hung up on killing him at that point?
True, that's not out of the question, but there's a more likely possibility. After Serizawa stole her chance on the first day and she was denied on the second day, Oribe felt driven into a corner and went berserk.
Shit. How'd he know? Why do you think that's more likely?
She said she was a wolf. The point is that she didn't have a problem with that, but she admitted it herself, right? Had she caused that commotion with the approval of the other wolves, I don't think she would have ever said that. Curiously enough, I think Fuzashi had it right. She could say it because she'd simply lost her mind and gone on a rampage. Where she's simply feigning madness, I think we'd be worrying about it more right about now.
I see. So what you're saying is that everything went according to plan for the wolves up until Muro's death, but Kaori didn't approve, which is why she caused this commotion, right? Well, where are you getting at with this?
In other words, the wolves insisted on killing Muro, and though they had restrained Oribe until yesterday, they lost control of her today. Those wolves are supposedly amongst those four, but honestly, that just doesn't sound right. Sorry, that could be interpreted as me saying none of you look like you have the power to lead. But first of all, let's start with the lady. She is an elegant woman who I can't see going out of her way to reject Oribe's somewhat valid proposal. Yamawaki is an elder, so she may have held more power than Oribe, but would she really use that to force her to kill Takumi first?
I would never do such a thing.
That's sophistry. So long as Kaori was fixated on killing her beloved son quickly, it wouldn't be strange if things turned out the same way.
What's gotten into you? This guy's trying to cast doubt on me.
But you keep quiet, Fuzashi.
I had to stop him. I had to stop him from swaying everyone's hearts.
As for Nosato, you do not appear to be well liked by the people of Yasumizo, so I don't think you could have cooperated with Oribe that well.
Now you're making assumptions. Kaori always tried to maintain harmony, so maybe she just went along with Kionosuke's decision the first time. I can't say I liked hearing some of that, but I suppose you're right. Besides, I would have probably agreed to prioritize eliminating Yasunaga over Muro.
As for Q, this basically goes without saying, but I don't think any of you would listen to what an outsider like her wanted.
And you're saying that while at the same time we are also an outsider? Well, you're right there. Besides, I don't have the makings of a leader in me.
This means that the leader of the wolves isn't one of them. How bizarre. So maybe someone we assumed to be a confirmed human was lying all along.
possible? So that would have to mean the one who claimed they were the snake is actually a wolf.
That's a lively imagination. No, delusion you've got there. Haven't you noticed, Fuzashi? You've barely said a word today, and when you did, it was only to attack my arguments. Isn't it natural to fight back against someone trying to frame you?
Hey, stop it. You say all that, but you seem quite irritated yourself. You're acting strange too.
Unfortunately, no matter how strange I may seem, I'm not a wolf, I'm a monkey. And yes, I am irritated. While I can't say I agree with people killing each other, given the special environment they were born into, I could at least understand it to some degree. But an outsider who sneaks into the village and takes advantage of the circumstances to commit crafty murders is truly revolting. Like I said, those are your own delusions. You've based this on the whole insane premise that I'm some sly brute. Besides, didn't you say it yourself? An outsider can't lead the wolves. I don't know if you're partners or lovers or whatever, but those are some pretty ballsy double standards you have to protect Mamiya, yet accuse me.
Excuse me? I can't let that one pass. Are you messing around? Well, he may not be wrong. No, there's nothing going on between Hashimoto and I.
Good. It was a huge risk, but now I'd cast doubt on Hashimoto's side. Now I just had to press some more, and you're not an outsider anymore. You've been welcomed as a member of this village. And I'd say that was a fairly sly act on your part. You forced your way into joining the village, then gained the minimum amount of trust. Was it all planned? Plus, if you had the guts and silver tongue to declare yourself a snake, you could have also cajoled Oribe, couldn't you? No, it seems you couldn't talk your way out of this one. Oh, is this what they call a lack of trust? My condolences. I'm sure you realized at some point that Takumi was probably the snake and decided to kill him. Who even are you to begin with? Why did you make your way into the settlement? Did you already know about all this? His verbal assault was entirely based on speculation, but it was a well-crafted story. Like I said, those are all nothing but speculations. Of course it was, because it was the story I'd actually put together. His deductions just happened to be right on the money. That was all. Then what if I said something that wasn't a speculation? If you've got something, by all means go for it. How did you know? Huh? Maybe you figured out last night's victim was Yoshitsugu Oribe through process of elimination, but how did you know the state of his body? Maybe you didn't know, but his body was cleaned up long before you woke up. Yep, he's got you there. I don't know the details since I wasn't there, but is Kaori really a wolf? Maybe she simply lost it after seeing the horrible state of Yoshitsugu's body and ended up killing Yasunaga as a result. I mean, at this point, like, you could still try to talk your way out of it, saying, like, you know, we've seen the horrible state of the bodies on previous nights. There's not a lot of doubt that the body would have been in a similar state, but yeah, I said something a wolf couldn't have known. What do you mean? Yes, all you can do is play dumb, right? Seriously, I don't know what you mean. Those delusions are. It's not up to you or I to decide if it's a delusion or a convincing hypothesis. Just then, everyone stared daggers at me. Let's vote, shall we? I'd been completely defeated. Still, I'm not a wolf. That's not a very convincing argument. Naturally, everyone voted to hang me. Haru voted for me too, as she was right to. Cleaving off the lizard's tail was a good choice. She didn't need words to cover for me with. At any rate, 2 wolves had been eliminated in the same day. This was all Kaori Oribe's fault. Was that the way I should think? Or should I think that I'd handled her the wrong way? Seriously, was there a way for the wolves to achieve victory here? Was there a way to step over that brilliant cameraman's corpse and press onwards? I felt like I was playing a troll game designed to be impossible to win. I continued to lament the absurdity of my situation until the very moment my consciousness sunk into the mist. We don't get a key for that. Okay. Well, we'll go back here. And go for the other bread. Wait, did I? No, we gotta go here, of course. Oops. I'm pressing space instead of enter. We would kill Yasunaga Oribe. If we let Yoshitsugu, the crow, live, they would find out that Kanzo was a human, but everyone already knew that. The crow would live another day. During the charade at noon, Yasunaga inherited Kanzo's will. His death would be more distasteful and tragic than anyone else's. The blind people here wanted a leader, and this would shock them immensely. I had no idea how good of a leader he would be, but it would be bad for us if he was actually good. Can we kill Yasunaga?
Certainly. I guess this is goodbye to Ni.
There's something I want to ask you to.
Yes?
Kill him yourselves this time.
Because you overdid it yesterday?
I don't want you stabbing my back while I'm doing the job.
I wouldn't do that.
Liar.
But I understand. Very well.
Be thorough about it.
What do you mean?
We need to make sure we don't leave any evidence and he doesn't leave any messages. He won't feel the pain once he's dead anyway.
Alright.
Don't suffer. Yep. I filled the bucket with water again and we went into the mist. The water from the faucet repelled the corruption just fine, though it was from a well, so maybe it didn't count as tap water. Haru went in front and Kari was right behind her. Haru was waving around a flashlight.
I see you like that a lot, Haru.
Who cared about that? We headed for the dorm. Not long after, we arrived. This reminded me of the first night when we tried to kill him, and Chiemi got in our way. This time, it was something else. What's the problem? Hurry up and open it.
It's not opening.
Hmm?
Me try. What about the other rooms?
I tried touching the cheap-looking metallic knob too. I didn't feel anything unlock, and I couldn't open it either. It was protected by the spider, probably. We then went around all the houses that had living people in them, but none of the doors opened. After a moment of thought, I reached a conclusion. The spider got the better of us.
So, the spider protected Ni's door and prevented it from unlocking when we tried to open it? Oh no.
No, we should have expected this. Anyone living in Yasumizu would know that he's in the most important position right now. Of course they would protect him.
What do we do?
We have no choice but to accept it. It's a night wasted for us. Kari can't kill a son, and the spider will know that we targeted Yasunaga.
Is that a big deal?
No, not really. In fact, this gives us some info. The spider was from Yasumizu. If Mamiya was the spider, she'd have protected either Hashimoto, me, or Yoshitsugu. The only locals whose roles we didn't know were Tai, Kyunosuke, and Rikako. Yasunaga couldn't have been the spider since they couldn't protect themselves. Meiku couldn't be it either. If she was the spider, Rikako would control her like last time. She was clearly the badger. That meant that one of those three was the spider. It wasn't completely unlikely that it was Kyunosuke, but I couldn't imagine him making this choice. He'd probably protect Rikako every single day. In order of likelihood from highest to lowest, it was probably Rikako, then Tai, then Kyunosuke. Worse than that.
Tomorrow? Will I get to kill them tomorrow?
This woman had abandoned all hope to keep her mind intact. That now came back around to undermine her sanity if she didn't get to kill her sons. And it looked like the situation where we couldn't let her have the kills she was promised would continue. Oh man. I wanted to reset. Right now, actually. Maybe I could just walk off the cliff and...
Oh, sorry. That was imprudent. Hisaishi, you really are insane, aren't you?
Me? Insane? Hey, that's not fair. You're the ones who went insane first. I told the others to, if they were in danger of getting hanged, pretend to be the crow, avoiding the spider at all costs. The spider wasn't an option. Claiming the spider meant death on the next or the following night, and if that didn't happen, it would mean that the spider was a fake. With Yoshitsugu's reveal, pretending to be a crow became a lot harder, but it was still safer than pretending to be a spider. Yasunaga and Hashimoto would also find it suspicious that the spider reveal even happened in the first place, so that was another reason. Though I would follow Yasunaga's idea and tell everyone that my snake powers said that Haru was a human, so she wouldn't be suspected. I was in way more danger in that regard. Also, I would see how the votes worked and if possible, hang Rikako. However, our votes would go different ways. We couldn't force it. Tomorrow's vote would be on hanging one of the 6 unconfirmed humans. Tai, Kaori, Kyonosuke, Rikako, Meiko, Mamiya. I would try to make sure it wasn't Kaori. After I provided that course of action, we went our own ways. We said goodbye to Kaori and went uphill. Haru.
What?
I was the one who started the conversation. That was a loss for me.
Am I insane? Maybe. I don't really know you. Though maybe I don't understand how you can brutally kill a man, then talk about morals.
She had a point. Another loss for me. God.
What is it, City Dweller?
Am I insane?
When you first came here, were you the kind of person who would think I want to die to restart? Well, I certainly would not call you a good person.
That wasn't fair. Third loss. It's all Yasumitsu's fault.
Well, sorry. I'll still live and die here, though.
This is hard.
What is?
Nothing. Hey.
What?
Did you really not feel anything about Kanzo?
Of course I did.
Same for the Oribes and Mochi.
I don't want to kill anyone.
Then why are you acting all normal?
Because it's the right way to act?
Right.
Right? I am. I'm not corrupted. I'm not insane. I'm not. It's Fujiyoshi that's messed up. It's God that's messed up.
Is God some state of being? Crazy. Right. State of being.
Have you realized something, City Dweller?
No. If that were the case, I could understand it, but no, even then some things wouldn't make sense. No, that wasn't right either. It wasn't that I couldn't understand. It was just so absurd and way too hopeless. But I wanted to tear off all these masks and examine them to my heart's content. There was no more terrifying or thrilling moment than the one when you were about to expose the ugly face of the unknown. And apparently the role of a wolf wasn't fit for this. The wolves were way too right. Basically, I had to change my line of thinking. Haru, here's an idea. I turned back to the small wolf.
What?
Alright, Miss Haru. We should give her all to be villains.
Villains?
Yeah, the bad guys. She tilted her head in confusion. We're bad guys who kill people. We're bad guys who betray their own. We're bad guys who do what we want. It would all be because we're evil, not because we're right. Evil is free from all forms of justice.
Villains? Evil? Are you sure it's good to be like that?
No, it isn't good, of course. But you know something? If they set their minds to it, humans are animals that can do bad things.
Killing is bad?
Of course, it's evil.
And killing friends, family, and good people?
Even worse, it's pure evil.
Why?
Reasons why we shouldn't murder. It was perhaps the hardest topic in morality. However, when you thought about it, it wasn't too difficult to find a logical answer to that too. You simply ignored the concept of good and evil. If ignoring such ideas was an integral part of evil, then I would teach her, and through it pose her a question about how flexible she really was. It inconveniences both mind and body.
I don't understand.
If you do something people don't want, they will start not wanting you either. That binds your mind and heart more tightly than you'd think. People who do things others really don't want might even find their bodies bound too. Bound, inconvenienced people can't live in peace, or die in peace. Most humans are forced to live well and be good, and that's because they all want to live and die in peace. If people begin binding others, the chains grow to encompass more and more people. So people grow up being told to live well to avoid that. But get this, if you give up on all that, if you inconvenience everyone as well as yourself and prepare to have a discomforting end, you can do bad things.
Hey, does everyone outside of here learn that?
Nope, I just thought of it myself.
That's mean.
But I think I'm surprisingly correct. If you agree, I'll join you. Let's be as villainous as we can be.
I like the Western movies they show on TV.
Really? What do you like?
The one with the Force.
You really did love that series, huh? What character do you like?
The golden one.
Was that why she liked androids? Did I remind her of him?
When you watch movies like that, you normally support the side of justice, right? Saying this is kind of embarrassing, but I sometimes think about how great it would be if some handsome knight came to save me.
That's a perfectly fine way to enjoy something.
I never thought about becoming a bad guy.
There's lots of movies with bad guy protagonists.
Really?
Yeah.
Can a bad guy cry?
Of course. As she began to intensely cry, I spread my arms out. She plunged into my chest with surprisingly little hesitation. I embraced her damp body and looked up at the sky. It was evil to grieve about parting ways with Yomibito, huh? And perhaps she, no, everyone here, wasn't actually insane. Well, I was an exception. We then walked around Yasumizu, barely saying a word. Then we reached a fork in the path. One led to the dorm, the other to the construction site.
Yeah.
Yep.
What? What should I call you?
A new name for a new relationship. I had a good idea for this. Just Haruaki is fine.
Haruaki?
No honorifics, just Haruaki. Partners in evil are equal.
That's a bit hard for me.
It's only between us, though. Don't even use it in front of Kaori.
Not even Kaori?
I mean, she's a good person.
Yeah, you're right. We'll kill her because we're evil, right?
Exactly.
Alright, Haruaki.
Yeah, Haru.
Why do you get to call me with a chan? That's not fair.
It's in my nature to want to call cute girls with that.
I'm cute?
Becoming evil made you at least 60% more cute.
Guess I'm fine with it then.
She extended her hand to me. I grasped it tightly. We would no longer be wolves of justice, but wolves of evil.
Good night, Haruaki.
Good night. I turned around.
I hope you sleep well, city dweller. No, villain.
A cold voice. Say, God. Just what is a god?
Do not act like you don't know. Well, I do not mind this too much. The intensity is not unpleasant. You are the sort that enjoys playing with fire, aren't you?
I walked off as if to get away from the laugh, which sounded strangely infuriated. I just remembered that the protagonist of that movie was actually the princess's brother. Wait, but then it took a turn where the princess got together with a wandering rogue. Maybe it was safer to let her call me Nee?
The old fart was a human. And the spider did a good job, so no one died last night. That's all fine with you all.
The next feast of the Yomi Purge began with Yoshitsugu saying those words. Since they couldn't let themselves relax, we all gathered in the hall early in the morning. Everyone was still on edge.
I knew it.
Taya's sentiments were shared by everyone present. Of course, everyone already knew that no one had died last night. Even so, no one was resting on their laurels. They were all hard at work thinking about what would happen next, and what they would do about it. At this point, no one was stupid enough to suggest that the wolves were just being merciful. Kanzuma Kishima left voluntarily, so we have to try and take it positively. We can consider whether it was good or bad after this is over. We can't turn back now. Are you okay, Haru?
I am.
Despite her words, she didn't actually seem fine yet. It didn't feel unnatural, though. I could only assume that turning to evil freed her of any misconceptions about how she had to behave. She was now free to present herself however she wished. I didn't know if it would be good for us in the long run, but I didn't mind. Evil could look even at defeat with a positive spin. Consider my looping, though it wasn't something I could rely on all the time. Coming back after every defeat was one of the good things about evil. That promise was an unexpected boon for my own sanity too. Fuzaishi. Haru is human. What a relief.
Both Fuji and I were human.
Yeah.
He was human, but you hanged him.
Yeah, I still haven't come to terms with it.
Anyway, Yasunaga forcefully moved the conversation along. Now we have 6 confirmed non-wolves: Haru, Mochi, Hashimoto, Fuzaishi, Yoshitsugu, and I. I also agree that Meiko is the badger. With that we have 7, leaving just 5.
Why? What if Fuji was right and the wolves are actually just making her say things to distract us?
Trying to get a girl no older than 5 to say what they want seems far too risky. She could easily reveal too much. Also, she's an outsider and a little girl. Unless it's absolutely necessary, hanging her is something we shouldn't do. We have people who still can't accept that we hanged Kanzo. It would be even worse with her.
Really?
Apparently Haru had decided to play subtle opposition to Yasunaga. With her there to annoy him, he would feel less confident in his course of action. Also, by presenting herself as a victim who'd lost her grandfather, she would never be suspected by the others. Basically, she was doing a good job.
Sounds like sophistry to me, but I admit I question the guilt of this child. Perhaps instead of removing her from the list of candidates, let the people decide whether they want to vote for her.
Fine by me.
Do we still have the right to speak?
Of course. What is it?
There's only 5 left, right?
Yes.
Then perhaps the game would be over if the spider revealed themselves?
Yeah, that was something to be wary of. Progressing based on such optimistic ideas would actually make it difficult for us.
If the spider protects someone among the 5, they can vouch that the person is human too. Wolves don't attack wolves, after all.
You're not wrong, but that sounds a bit optimistic.
Well, it's just a thought.
Optimistic? I don't think I get it. Explain it to me, Yasun.
Because it's not worth it for the wolves to target one of the 5 that aren't confirmed humans yet. By killing them, they would reduce the amount of potential wolves. They should start with those who are confirmed. With the snake, monkeys, and the crow revealed, they have no reason not to go for them. Exactly. After all, the spider protected Yasunaga, a confirmed human. Even so, I didn't want the spider to out themselves and leave only 4 candidates. It would increase the odds of the humans realizing there were imposters among them.
I thought they'd go for the unconfirmed humans because they want to get rid of the spider.
Even then, there's no point in going for the unconfirmed. Even I and Haru could be the spider after all.
There you have it. It probably wouldn't lead to an immediate victory.
But if it actually is a situation where the spider revealing themselves reduces the unconfirmed humans to just 3, I would like him or her to do it. But even then, he would need 3 days to execute all the wolves, right? Right. So the spider would die for sure, right? Most likely. It's hard to expect them to out themselves in this situation. I'm sure Q, for one, would never do it.
Yes, if I were the spider, I would keep it a secret.
No one played their cards. You people all understand that someone can get executed even if they're innocent, I assume. The silence said it all. Of course they did. Kanzo had died just yesterday, after all. The peer pressure was too strong, after all. Well, if the spider is prepared to die and reveal themselves, we would create a majority.
That's true. Our combined votes would lead to certain victory.
Right now it was 6 versus 6. It didn't feel right to consider Mako as confirmed, so right now the sides were tied.
Also, the remaining 4 can be reduced to 3, correct? The wolves among the 4 know who the other wolves are, so we would know for sure who they are. We would have to watch their reactions and remain observant for other signs.
Then come out already, spider.
Silence.
Dumbass.
The spider didn't reveal themselves. Perhaps my assumptions were wrong and the spider was Mamiya, who was just being careful not to get hanged. The spider was wary of potential wolves among the humans, and they were absolutely right about that. In the best case scenario, we would win the day after tomorrow. If the wolves and Mako were alive for when there were 8 people left, the wolves could reveal themselves and take in the badger as another vote. That sounds like a very risky strategy, considering the badger is a 5-year-old child who could do whatever. However, since we would lose Kaori after she killed the Oribe brothers, the best case scenario was probably impossible. I would have to focus on trying to hide the fact there were humans among the wolves. It would all be over for us if they somehow determined the 3 final suspects today, hanged one of them, and the crow declared them as human tomorrow. They would immediately realize that the snake was lying. Thus, we needed a situation where it took longer for the rest to be confirmed. The spider acting cautiously worked in our favor. Of course, the spider themselves remained a major threat to us, but still we now had no choice but to use our nighttime kills to prevent a fixed majority. Identifying the spider and leading people to be executed required a subtle hand during the feast. It doesn't look like we can lower the number even further, so we will have to hang one of the remaining 5.
Count the child. I know I might sound annoying, but our lives are on the line here.
Right, it's 6, not 5. Stand up.
Mako, stand.
Don't tell me what to do.
She still stood up. What a good girl. He was followed by Kiyonosuke, Rikako, Kaori, Tae, and Mamiya. Starting from this side, I would like you to tell us 2 things. Why we shouldn't vote for you, and who, other than yourself, do you believe is a human? Clever. Tae, please start.
I'm human, that's all I know. But look at this, only the elders are dying. Doesn't that mean that the young ones brought this corruption upon us?
What?
It definitely wasn't only the elders, but it did look like the spaces around her were kinda empty. That must have been especially hard to her, who'd lost both Kanzo and Takumi.
Ha! Big shame, huh? All that's left on your side are the village heads you love so much and my old hag, all middle-aged. If you're saying that the journal woman and the brat are Yomibito, you ain't got the numbers for it. What about you? You just said you're the crow, like that's enough. The hell did you just say?
Yoshitsugu, please, stop. I'm in danger of being hanged too.
Can I sit now? Standing's hard on my bones.
Please stand a bit longer.
Yasu, what a bad child you've become.
I'm sorry, I don't want any further chaos. Next. Tae must have felt pretty cornered. She didn't have to hold such a grudge.
I'm not a wolf. I swear it upon my 2 sons.
Do you have anything else?
I had a decent opinion of Takumi Muro.
Taking that angle, huh?
I even talked about remarrying to my sons.
Seriously? Yasun?
Yes, I said it was up to her.
I said that he wouldn't want a hag with brats for a wife. Well, Takumi was the best guy left in this shitty place, but I'd feel weird having him for a dad.
From the way he put it, it was safe to say he approved of the man.
I would have easily accepted if he asked, but thought that approaching him myself would have seemed overbearing. I never expected things to turn out this way. If I were a wolf, I certainly wouldn't kill him first. That is all. And the person I believe is human is Hisako Mamiya. She's remained level-headed and has been providing our side with good advice. Thank you very much.
In the end, you're just an outsider too.
Kaori was basically implying that Tai, Kyonosuke, and Rikako, the village heads aligned, were the wolves. It was an emotional argument, but with the additional layer of logic she'd added, her idea showed merit. Man, that woman sure was something. This was the same person who'd applauded when I killed Takumi. Nosato, you're next.
A reason why I should stay alive, right? I understand that you consider me to be the most unnecessary person here. However, I don't see any other good reason to hang me. Have I ever troubled you?
Well, he was relatively laid back this time. He should have been more conscious of the ire his words had drawn for him.
There's one thing I want to say, though. It's about what Madame Oribe said 2 days ago. What is it? Have you forgotten? When Shiemi Serizawa died, you made the baseless claim that she was a wolf. Then you used it as justification to suspect Rikako Uematsu, who had merely proposed a reason for her suicide. You crafted a negative interpretation of a harmless suggestion and then directed votes against someone in a difficult position. That seems like the actions of a wolf to me. Don't you believe the village heads are crucial to surviving this situation? I was simply suspicious. Even if it seems unreasonable to you, since I am not a wolf myself, I see your assumption as mistaken. That is all from me. And before I forget, I believe this human is Rikako. Thank you very much.
Wow. He was actually completely right. How would they react to that? Thank you. Next.
There is something I must say first.
Yes?
I am still 27.
Oh, this was her reply to the idea of being middle-aged. As everyone realized that, some cleared their throats awkwardly, while others stifled some chuckles. The tense air dissipated a bit, but she looked as serious as ever. If this was intentional humor, I'd say she had some talent. And 27, she was still in her prime. From what Shiemi had said, I'd assumed she was almost 40 or something. What a shame that I'd have to kill her.
As one of the village heads, I am fully aware of Fujiyoshi's misdeeds, and its very dark past. I understand that you would consider me to be one of the conspirators behind the feast. However, I must continue fulfilling my role as the spider.
Are you saying that you are the spider? As in, the one who received the power of the spider?
No, I refer to the Uematsu.
You're confusing us.
I see. Continue.
If you consider me an eyesore or suspicious, please vote for me. Taking in your feelings is one of the spider's roles.
That approach worked for Shiemi, but Rikako? Not so much. So, who do you think is a human?
I do not believe that a single one standing is a wolf.
What?
Rikako, I appreciate that, but even Kaori? She slandered you thoroughly. I understand wanting to be suspicious. And it is not truly impossible that Serizawa-sama was a wolf. But from what I see, the 5 of you seem to believe that the feast shall end if we hanged everyone standing.
That would mean that either Yoshitsugu or Fuzashi are a fake crow and snake.
You would be suspicious too, since you would have been proven innocent by a false snake.
Seriously? She was saying that there were wolves among the confirmed humans, which turned the correct assumption on its head. Of course, both Yasunaga and Hashimoto were suspicious of that too. But I certainly didn't expect her, of all people, to bring it up now.
Uzaishi, I have feelings for you.
That caused a stir. Yeah, I knew that. For some reason, she believed I was some heavenly savior sent to rescue the town from its true problems. She'd even risk her life on that conviction.
However, if you are actually a wolf, I will do as Shinai says and hang you.
But if it opposed her sense of right, even I would become an enemy to her. I might have taken her too lightly. Are you saying that you doubt him more than anyone else?
No, it is simply my personal worst-case scenario. I have nothing more to say.
I understand. Next, Mamiya.
I would love it if the snake finally confirmed that I'm clean. I have nothing to hide, after all. But since there are people who act more suspiciously than me, investigations and hangings will surely be directed at them first. That's why I won't insist that you investigate me. My justification this time is simple encouragement to prioritize those more suspicious than me. Another thing, if I was a wolf, I would have killed Hashimoto before anyone else.
Her statement hit everyone with the force of a hammer. Now, that is scary.
I don't know if you realize this, but Hashimoto has been helping guide the feast, even outside of these discussions, keeping everything stable all the while. Without him, the feast would have been far more disastrous. Since I'm neither afraid nor has he been killed, I'm no wolf.
You overestimate me, but thank you for your concern. I will make one thing clear. Hashimoto is an extremely huge help. Like Mamiya says, he's one of the main reasons why we're not an unruly mob. I just figured that if the wolves were underestimating him, it wasn't a good idea to draw attention to their mistake, so I kept quiet. Mamiya, I agree with your words, but maybe you should have kept quiet.
Oh, I only said that because I thought all of you were underestimating him.
I'm not.
Even though you didn't give him a chance to speak and insisted on the lynching yesterday?
We have our own lines that must never be crossed. That's it. That's all I need to say about that.
I see. As for the people I think are human, no comment. If I decide that one of them is human, then the other three would be wolves. And like Uematsu said, that doesn't seem right. It's easy to present someone who might be human, but this would be basically a pointless witch hunt. I don't like it personally.
Yes, neither do I.
At least you're mindful of that.
Thank you very much. Lastly,
Hang everyone, I'm hungry.
that was it, huh?
So, who's shady?
I believe that the two who didn't present a candidate as human aren't suspicious.
What?
Yasunaga.
That seemed like a bad move to me, Yasunaga. I can understand relating to the level-headed ones, but the other three were just following the process provided. I could also understand trying to appear objective enough to suspect even your mother, but I couldn't blame anyone for thinking he was just acting biased.
I did not choose because I believed the rest were wolves.
Well, you're all in on Ichan. It's not like anyone will suspect you.
No, that's enough.
The fact that Mochi said that right after Rikaku's declaration just showed how bad he was at reading the mood. It was awkward for everyone, human or wolf. Anyone else have anything to say? If not, I would like to start the vote.
Sure are in a hurry.
I simply do not believe there is anything left worth discussing. We should just do what needs to be done.
You seem to be treading this.
You seem to be treading this pretty lightly. No, I'm simply ready to take responsibility for any deaths I cause. So that was his brand of righteousness this time, huh? Everyone, I do not want to bring outside values into this, but making a high school student bear such a burden is normally considered cruel. What else can we do? Leave it to you, the eldest confirmed human, or Fuzaishi? I see. Then, Fuzaishi? Yes? Would you like to take charge of the feast? I thought that the role was entrusted to Yasunaga yesterday. And I've accepted it. However, I don't intend to take complete control over the feast. I'm not Kanzo.
Yeah, he's different.
If you can be sufficiently responsible about it, then yes. I don't mind giving this role to Fuzaishi or Hashimoto. They seem a lot wiser than I am. Don't be so hard on yourself. You're doing a good job. It's just hard for you to fight adults, right? And I'm actually prioritizing my own survival above all else. No one would believe me if I claimed to take responsibility here. Now, him, a man who struggled in life, found a place here and bears the burden of the snake, a role that measures lives, would be far more convincing. What do you say, everyone?
Kan gave the job to Yasu.
Yamawaki. But I believe Fuzaishi would judge us fairly.
Don't you suspect that he might be a wolf?
Mushida, I never said that. I merely said that I was prepared for it.
I don't like it.
Taya, that wasn't a good move. She was helping you out here.
I don't care what the old hag thinks, but Aniki should be leading this shit.
My son is still young, while Fuzaishi seems to be well adjusted.
Agreed. He'd be a lot better at taking charge.
I also think it should be him. Fuzaishi was against hanging Oji.
I don't get it, so screw it.
I don't understand where he's going with this, but I trust Hashimoto's judgment.
Sayuki's a dummy.
Why? Only 2. No, 3 are against it. Seems like you have a lot of support here, Fuzaishi. This wasn't the time to worry about Taya. We're counting on you.
Nonsense.
Kinosuke was probably right. The leader of the feast had no special rights. Their vote held no weight over anyone else's, and like Yasunaga said, it was a heavy burden to carry. Everyone's eyes were on the one at the top, and if there was some cause for concern, they would readily tear them apart for it. Basically, this was just a very well-intentioned trap. Alright. Thus, I would take the bait. I was evil, after all. I would take control of the feast and play the hero. Yet so chaos. Is it so? Yeah, it is so. Chaos like the villain I was. I couldn't fail with my partner in evil watching me, after all. Though all we can do right now is vote. If you want to call off the feast, though, well. I now realize that's pointless. Very well. I don't want to make Rikako do it every time, so I would be the one writing down this time.
Do you know how to use a writing brush?
I haven't touched one since elementary school, but I'm sure I can make it somewhat readable. My hands are restless, you see. I was tempted to act like a chief secretary, but passed when I realized they probably wouldn't get it. Before that, who will you investigate tonight? One of the 6 standing.
Any reason you're not saying which one?
To make sure the wolves don't get to them before I do. The wolves don't want there to be more confirmed humans, after all. I see. I would twist logic into knots if that's what it took for an advantage. I'll start writing, so let's just begin. Hashimoto, keep an eye out in case there's something wrong with the records. Alright. From the eldest.
One for Yoshitsugu Oribe. Just so you know, I can't lose this vote. Hell, you got any idea how shitty you look right now? Hang me, then. I'm saying that for your sake, dammit. What a rotten old hag. You young ones are the rotten ones.
Shut up, you two. I'll kill you.
Huh?
Oh, rough. I'm kidding. Such poor taste. The joke was meant to shut people up, you know? Feel free to give a few words along with your votes and comment on them if you want, but don't waste time bickering. I will deal with disorder appropriately. Choose your words carefully. If you want to fight, take it outside, and if you kill anyone in the process, you'll regret it. We're talking about killing someone here. Keep that in mind the next time you speak. Sounds like there's a deeper meaning to what you said. And you're more than meets the eye. If anyone else has objections to how things are going, please speak now.
Please do not say that you will kill someone.
Very well. Now, Kaori.
Tai Yamawaki, because I sincerely believe that Yoshitsugu is the real crow.
Nosato.
Lady Yamawaki, unfortunately it appears that the elders of Yasumizu lose the ability to cooperate whenever a feast comes. I agree with Fusaishi that there must be order and...
Leave it at that, please.
I'm sorry. Yasunaga Oribe, you're next.
Tai Yamawaki.
You people.
You have more than half the chance to pick a wolf, even when you pick at random. This is fine. Insert the meme of the dog sitting in the house on fire. A third vote for Yamawaki. Mochi, you're next.
Kaori, I guess. She's not acting like herself right now. There's no way our hag's a wolf.
I suppose trying to think things through was a mistake.
Please don't take your grudges from the votes outside of the feast. Next, Yoshitsugu.
Obviously Tai Yamawaki, the old hag.
4 votes, she's in the lead. Next, Haru.
One for Kaori.
What a power move from Haru. If she was a wolf, she would have already poisoned the food and killed everyone, even if it meant being killed by the corruption. He really knew her well.
That's just a maybe, isn't it? Why are you talking like it's confirmed? You're the one who killed Uji just because he got mad.
Could have objected to it when he was still alive. Even he might have changed his mind if his granddaughter asked him to.
Not everyone can say whatever they want whenever they want.
Stop it, you two. I was worried that this would continue after the feast. If you ask me, Haru has a point. Not everyone can say or do the perfect thing when it counts. But the feast demands that we do our best. Our decisions and actions are directly related to the results from the voting. Unfortunately, what Kanzo did yesterday was unacceptable to most people. It's best to consider that the cause of what happened to him. It's awful, but there are heavy responsibilities involving your behavior here. Keep that in mind. Also, please avoid accusing others of biases. Think for yourself instead. Rikako, you're next.
One for Meiko.
Now, this I didn't expect.
Meiko is most likely the Badger. She is the only one here who is obviously working against us. With no one else being an obvious threat, I believe I should prepare to get rid of her, just in case.
I hate you.
You're next, Meiko.
Kusayuki.
If this wasn't a serious subject, I'd have fallen to my knees in exasperation. She didn't change even in this situation. It probably didn't matter to her at all. She'd have seen me as an enemy regardless. Though maybe fighting the Badger wasn't so bad. It reinforced the idea that I wasn't a wolf. I'm next. I had to use the voting order to my advantage here. 1 for Meiko.
Ah!
Why was she shocked? We can laugh it off now, but If she'd voted for me when I had multiple votes, my life would be in danger. Next. There was another reason for my choice. We had 2 voters left. Tai was the current top with 4, and Kaori and Meiko were tied for second with 2. If Mami and Hashimoto joined forces, they could bring either of them to 4 and take it to a final vote. By forcing them to make this choice, I would crush their ability to remain neutral. Also, I was pretty sure at this point that Tai would die. As I was the current leader of the feast, I would be given the role of pushing her off at the hanging pine. If I voted for her, she would hold a grudge, making the whole process a bit harder.
Show me the votes so far.
Here.
Hashimoto, which of these do you think is the most suspicious? Yamawaki, Oribe, or Meiko?
Shouldn't you vote by yourself?
I didn't get any votes this time, but I'm still not confirmed to be human, so I want to give it to you, a monkey.
Well, I hope that makes you more trustworthy. I'll say it then. I'll vote for Fuzashi. Everyone was shocked. Can I have a reason? I don't have one yet.
Huh?
I'm a bit suspicious of you, but my foundation for that is very weak at this point. I don't have enough reason to truly suspect you. I'll mention it once that changes.
Okay.
Was that a bluff, or... No point in voting like I did, huh?
Are you sure? We have a result now.
It's the result of other people's votes.
Alright. Well, it would look bad if I went back on my statement, so like I said, I'll vote the same way as you.
Oh, also, I fully agree with letting Fuzashi be in charge. He even said we should be responsible for what we say and do. An excellent leader.
Thanks. 2 votes for me.
Yes.
The results are in. Tai Yamawaki has the most votes at 4, meaning she will be hanged.
Yasumizu is truly damned now.
No, it was your attitude that damned you.
Though I would end Yasumizu anyway. Do your job as the snake.
As I held the rope, she told me that. Certainly. I'd work as a fake snake, though. I gave her the usual rise not spiel and pushed her. The moment she fell, she let out a sharp sound like tearing cloth.
No.
Of course she would. No one wanted to die. Yasumizu people, old people, no one at all. Perhaps she wasn't as prepared for this as she was last time. The tense rope seemed to shake from her struggling longer than last time. And then Tai Yamawaki died.